So let me start out this video by saying I am not a Sony hater. I have been playing some PlayStation games longer than you guys have probably been alive. I own every PlayStation console from the PlayStation 1 through the current PlayStation 5. Hell, the first time I even got a credit card was a Best Buy credit card so that I could buy a PlayStation 3 with Metal Gear Solid 4 because, well, I had to have it and the PlayStation 3 was very, very expensive. I didn't have that kind of money and Best Buy was willing to give a 20-year-old a credit card with a $2,000 limit, and well, that's kind of where I learned about credit. And yes, a lot of times when I talk about Sony and PlayStation related things on this channel, it is a bit negative, and that's something I'm going to work on going forward in the future, because there are a lot of things that I like about Sony and the PlayStation, and there are a lot of games that I of course grew up playing and I absolutely love even still to this day. But the PlayStation 5 has been posing an interesting question. That's something that has just been growing and growing over time. What we saw from the initial PlayStation reveal trailer from less than a year ago is very different when we're talking about video games for the PlayStation 5 that have come out in 2021. Things that were supposed to come out didn't come out. Things that were supposed to come out are delayed until 2022 or even beyond. And I'm sitting here questioning the whole situation. Like, did Sony lie about the PlayStation 5 games for 2021 last year when they unveiled the PlayStation 5 system? Because I definitely feel like Jim Ryan is kind of a little sneaky guy, and I feel like there is a lot of questions that need to be answered with this. So that's what we're going to go over in today's video. Obviously, there was some brand new news about Horizon Forbidden West that was revealed that definitely shows something weird is going on with Sony and the PlayStation 5. So of course, the big news that ended up coming out today was that Horizon Forbidden West is allegedly no longer a 2021 title. This was initially reported by Jeff Grubb. Jason Schreier then came along from Bloomberg and said, no, it's pretty much delayed until 2022. It will not be seeing a release this year. And this is something that we've talked about before on the channel. Now, Sony of course did a state of play presentation for Horizon Forbidden West, and a lot of people felt like that was a confirmation for a 2021 release, myself included initially when we saw that back in May. I definitely thought, well, if you're showing off this game, you're definitely trying to get people excited about the PlayStation 5 more so than they already are. So this game has to be pretty much a lock for 2021, right? But as time has gone on, of course, now we're entering the month of August, and we still did not have a release date for Horizon Forbidden West, which, I don't know, it seems like Sony would actually want to talk about this and promote this release date for the game, because this was going to be the big PlayStation 5 game that you could only play on a PlayStation system that was really going to get people excited and have Sony PlayStation owners very excited about their console. Well, like I said, now it seems like this game has been delayed until 2022. And this is not the first game that we've seen that was allegedly supposed to come out in 2021 for the PlayStation 5 that has been delayed at least until 2022 with no sort of timetable as to when it's going to release. Of course, during that first PlayStation 5 presentation where we learned about games that were going to be coming to the system in 2021, two other games were confirmed to be coming in 2021 and then have slipped into a date beyond that. The first game we're going to talk about is Gran Turismo 7, and honestly, I thought that Gran Turismo 7 had a pretty good chance at coming out. Yes, it's been quite a while since we've gotten a mainline Gran Turismo game, and what we saw from the game looked pretty well. It looked pretty polished. It looked like, well, Gran Turismo. You had a bunch of different cars, a bunch of different settings that you're racing in. Gran Turismo games never really sort of deviate from the formula that's been working since Gran Turismo 1, but yes, Gran Turismo 7 is now a 2022 or beyond game. There was also God of War Ragnarok as well, which I felt was a lie the first time we saw this game. When they said God of War Ragnarok was coming to the PlayStation 5 in 2021, I called BS on it. You can go back to my initial reaction to Sony's PlayStation 5 presentation and clearly see where I said I have no faith in this game coming out. They did not show anything from this game. They literally showed a flash screen, you know, a little thing that says, hey, it's coming in 2021, and everyone was just supposed to believe that and buy into it. So now we're talking about three big games for the PlayStation 5 that were supposed to come out in 2021 and are no longer coming out in 2021. And of course, all three of these games were talked about being in 2021 in Sony's initial presentation for the PlayStation 5 that took place less than a year ago. So what has actually changed? Now, you could say things like COVID related things, but obviously the world is opening back up quite a bit more than it was during that time frame. So if anything, if they would have announced this system back in like 2019 and said these games were coming in 2020, I would more be inclined to think, okay, well, you know, this is obviously due to workplace conditions and workplace relationships that were happening due to what COVID was Nintendo's doing to the video game industry. But no, they came out in late 2020 and said that these games were coming to the PlayStation 5 in 2021. So that really leads me to another question. What are the games that are actually coming out in the second half for the PlayStation 5 that are PlayStation exclusive games, that are games that PlayStation 5 owners are going to want to play? And honestly, the list is pretty spooky. So the first game we have is Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut on August 20th. Now, this game was, of course, originally a PlayStation 4 game, and this was a PlayStation 4 game that sold very well. This was supposed to be the end of the PlayStation 4 generation. Remember when Jim Ryan said that we believe in console generations and all that sort of stuff? Well, I guess he meant that we believe in console generations only when it's applicable and only when it's a good buzzword, and it sounds like what Xbox isn't doing with their systems, because now Ghost of Tsushima is getting a director's cut on August 20th. Now, honestly, I'm kind of interested in this game. I did not play this game originally on the PlayStation 4, and the new DLC content that expands upon the game is said to be about 15 to 20 hours long. So I'm really going to enjoy this game, but if I'm a diehard PlayStation fan who owned a PlayStation 4, I more than likely have already played this game. Will visual enhancements be enough for me to want to play this game again? The next game we have is Deathloop, which comes out on September 14th. The funny thing about Deathloop is this was actually supposed to be a launch window game for the PlayStation 5, but then of course got delayed. It was supposed to be a spring game, and then it moved back into September. And honestly, Deathloop is just a game that I'm not interested in. It looks like a Bethesda first-person shooter. Like, it's fine, you know, it's a fine game, but to have this game essentially be your pinnacle, to have this be your big holiday release, as you'll see with the other games coming out for the PlayStation 5 this holiday season, it doesn't really have that same sort of bang like something like a Halo Infinite or a Metroid Dread has for the Nintendo Switch. It's just, you know, it looks like a decent enough game, but to me, it's not a game that I need to get on day one. I could definitely wait for a sale on something like this. On September 21st, we have kenna, I'll never know how to say this, which of course comes out on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. Now, once again, I think this game looks absolutely fantastic. It is definitely a game I'll play, but I do have some sort of concerns because this game has seen a series of delays as well. This was also supposed to be a launch window game for the PlayStation 5. It was then delayed until spring, it was then delayed until August, and then very recently, it was delayed until September 21st. So I always have to sort of question when a game gets a delay right before it's supposed to come out. Of course, we have seen this turn out to be a positive thing. Games like The Last of Us 2, you know, that delay didn't seem to impact the game or anything like that, so who knows what that was about. You know, obviously, it probably could have played into COVID-related things, but I don't know, I'm kind of concerned about this game, and there's questions about the game's length as well, as this is only going to be a $40 title. And then we have Death Stranding Director's Cut on September 24th, a game that I don't care about whatsoever. I bought the collector's edition of Death Stranding. I used to be a Hideo Kojima fanboy. I played Death Stranding for about 15 hours on my PlayStation 4, and I did not like it. I understand why some people do like the game, and I'm totally cool with them liking it, but for me, Death Stranding is boring. Death Stranding sucks. It looks great, but the gameplay is just not there for me, and there's not enough going on within the gameplay to really bring me in. So a director's cut of this game that looks to add some more fun stuff to the game that actually makes it look like a more playable experience that may be something I would enjoy is definitely not a game that I'm going to buy on day one because I did not like the original game. And then as far as PlayStation exclusives go, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the exclusives coming to the PlayStation 5 this holiday season. 3 games coming in the month of September, 1 game coming out in the month of August, and that's it. And it's just such a stark contrast from what we saw less than a year ago in Sony's initial presentation about what games you were going to be playing on your PlayStation 5 in 2021. So we kind of have to circle back to the initial question in the title of this video. Did Sony lie about their 2021 games lineup? Now, we have seen some games come out, games like Returnal and Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank was a phenomenal game. It's one of my favorite games of the year and definitely something I enjoyed a lot. But when we saw that game, you could definitely tell that that game was far along in development. You could tell that this was going to be a game that was going to release on the PlayStation 5 in 2021. Same sort of thing with Returnal. We saw a game that was clearly far along in development that looked like a game that could come out in 2021. But when you think back of it and you think back about Horizon Forbidden West, think back about Gran Turismo 7, especially think back about God of War Ragnarok, Ragnarok. Were these games ever really going to come out in 2021? Or was this just Sony's way of drumming up attention for the PlayStation 5 and trying to get people hyped on the system? You gotta remember, Sony has lied about quite a few things this generation, especially the whole "we believe in console generations" thing. The whole reason why people were mad at Xbox was because Xbox was going to release games on the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X, and those games that were developed for the Xbox One were going to hold back the Xbox Series X version. But you have to say the same thing with a lot of these games. Games like Horizon Forbidden West is a PlayStation 4 game. Gran Turismo 7, which was also supposed to be just a PlayStation 5 game, is also a PlayStation 4 game now. God of War Ragnarok could end up seeing that same fate. So it's just a very strange situation. I think you could make a case that Sony did lie when they first came out and talked about the PlayStation 5, or you could say, you know, it's just circumstances, it's just the way things happen. But I don't know, I'm leaning more so towards the lie situation. But what do you think about this whole thing? Do you think Sony was calling your bluff when they talked about these games coming out in 2021? And what do you think about Sony's holiday lineup? Because I don't know, it's not really for me looking at the games besides like Kenna and Ghost of Tsushima, and that's only because I didn't play that game on the PlayStation 4. And as always, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like and share the video as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.